Are you ready to unleash your full potential and become unstoppable in your success and leadership?
Welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, where we provide powerful insights and strategies for coaches, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I'm Alexanne Carter.
And I'm Carol Register, and we're certified master neurocoaches who are passionate about helping you overcome your limiting beliefs and optimize your performance.
Each week, we'll be sharing actionable tips and strategies using neuroscience, from interviews with industry experts to solo episodes to help you lead a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms.
Join our community of like-minded individuals. Hit subscribe now and let's be unleashed and unstoppable together. Hey, here we are. It is our super fun Halloween episode. We're so glad to be here. Let's dive in and talk about attraction, Alex. What does attraction mean to you? What does it look like for you?
That is such a good question. I mean, visually, I see people coming to you, right? Like this vibration that, you sometimes walk into a room and there's certain people that you just notice that people sort of navigate towards. There's just a certain something about them, right? Like they're glowing, they have this confidence, they really can hold themselves really high. And because of that, because of how they hold themselves, they have that confidence, people are attracted to them, right? They want to have a conversation with them. There's just something about them that I think internally inside of us, we feel that we are drawn to them, right? And so it's that drawing, it's this energy that surrounds them. And it's not that it's you can visually see it. It's something about like in the aura that kind of really has that attraction, I'm just thinking of, it's like, okay, it's when like Andrew and I first met. Yeah. And I think this is a great example. Him and I were like opposite in this like circle, and there was something about me or whatever. And he literally walked outside the whole entire circle to come talk to me. Right. And I always think of that example because there was something that had him internally make the effort to come and talk to me. And I think that that's what it is. Like
that
there's a bit of effort, I think, on the other person's behalf to come to speak to somebody or in that sense. And then it feels good, right? If you think of the receiver as you're attracting, I mean, that's that really feel good. That there's that dopamine, right? That you're experiencing because you've noticed a bit of effort that someone has put in to come towards you. And I think, that's what that is. It's like there's an exchange of energy as people are coming to you to put out to create that draw in to you as an individual if we're talking in sort of like that more human attraction kind of piece.
I think you really hit on something, that we talk all the time about identity. And it's that internal belief when somebody displays a confidence that's friendly and winsome and draws you to them because there's just this confidence and a light that's there. And we are definitely energetic spiritual beings in physical bodies. And a lot of times we don't think about it that way. We're thinking about the physical. But, when somebody has that star quality, a lot of times we're attracted to certain celebrities and movie stars. I'm like, George Clooney comes to mind, like he's so winsome. He attracts you. Or Julia Roberts, there's this inner light that comes out that, we love. And so I think it's really important to know that, right? That it definitely comes from the inside. And we've seen the contrast too. We've experienced the contrast where somebody's very off-putting. We don't want to be in their energy. We want to get away as fast as possible. And so if you're wanting to attract, to me, it's where you get to, number one, believe in yourself first.
Mhm.
And then number two, you keep your promises to yourself. You have integrity with yourself, which builds an instant confidence because you trust you, and then you convey that energy out to people, right?
When
Uh,
you were when you're talking about like George Clooney and Julia Roberts, there was something that came to me, which was the authenticity. They're
yeah,
very authentic. Like you can tell that they're very genuine, loving, authentic people. There's not this effort, right? I think that's
yeah,
as you're saying here, like sometimes we can sense that, and what we sense in that energy is like they're people are trying, you hear like people are trying too hard versus just being themselves. They're trying
yeah,
to attract, right? There's this trying this versus just being, which
yeah,
ties to identity. When you just be yourself and you own who you are and your gifts and your quality, you're not walking to a room and trying to be like somebody else in the room
right.
up on that. I think that's the thing about George Clooney and Julia Roberts is like they're just them. Like just have a very
Yeah,
authentic, natural, confident, approachable demeanor, and that demeanor piece is in our identity and how we choose to show up and just be and not trying to force like that. That's what I'm thinking of like force, right? You've got two magnets,
I like
you know,
that.
like
Yeah.
two together, but they're not going, and yet you still force it and try and find ways to like
And
get
then
it
the
to,
repelling.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. Whereas like you turn the magnet around and it just naturally has that attraction. And so when we think about that, even as human beings, it's like, are we trying to force something, or are
Yeah.
we just being ourselves and grounding in ourselves and who we are, acknowledging ourselves
Yeah.
for what would attract other people to us, and then we create that, right? And it's that energy. Like I love how you always talk about that energy. So because of knowing how important that energy is, like internally and on a subconscious level too, how would you coach somebody in shifting that if they feel like they're wanting to attract something, right? We're always talking about wealth and abundance,
Yeah.
and we recently recorded an episode. I think it's going to be released after this one about like really, oh, we talked like of commanding your wealth. That was released a couple weeks ago, commanding your wealth,
Yeah.
right? There is an attract there. We are attracting in some sense, but we feel this block. Now I hear that all the time. I feel like I'm blocked. How do we release the block so that we can stay in this expansive, attractive energy piece where we're not fighting it, we're not trying to force something?
Yeah. You know, I love the episode we just did with Heather Mariana about that sexy, messy is sexy, her walking the red carpet in flip-flops at times and just being truly who she is. And it can be so easy to want to impress people. And so then we're not really being fully ourselves. And so then when you're wanting to attract, like from an energetic level, they can now measure our energy fields when they're in high vibe mode, go out as much as 9 feet. And honestly, whether we're in person or sharing energy on a Zoom, it is still something where I don't think virtual matters. Like, I do think there's definite power in being in person, but we're still receiving energy, excuse me, virtually, digitally. Um, Everything is energy. Everything is energy. So when I think about that from a point of view of attracting, it goes back to, do I have internal approval? Am I approving of me first? Because that's when I've got my oxygen mask on first and I'm able to share it with others because I believe in myself. I love myself. I think I'm deserving and I'm worthy of good things. And then I'm putting that energy out there and other people want a part of that. They're like, hey, what's that? What? I want that too. Um, so to me, that's really where it goes to at the core.
It goes back to your first principle of wealth, right? Like, and then when we're thinking about like wealth and our relationship with wealth, whether it be with wealth or other things, it's like the relation. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've these are your principles of wealth, right? But the relation. Oh, oh no, it's like in terms of like our self worth and our self love, right?
Yeah.
So our relationship with our wealth is a reflection of the relationship with ourself. Is that how we say it, Carol?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Got it, right? Because as you're talking there, that's what I'm thinking, right? Whether it's relationship with money or we're talking about relationship with other people, relationship with wanting to attract more clients or a relationship, right? A romantic,
Yeah.
um, maybe it's your vision home or a vacation, right? Like a lot of times we're thinking of like what we are attracting, and it's a really beautiful invitation opportunity to take a look at what's going on internally. And I think this is why your book club, Carol, is so important and valuable. And those of you who haven't jumped in, Carol does run a worthy book club on Fridays. And so if this is something that you notice, especially in this episode, and you're like, okay, I feel like that is an area for me in my an area for me to work on when it comes to my worthiness and my self-love, and so that I can show up more expansive because I'm grounded in who I am.
Yes.
I've reach out to Carol and learn more about that opportunity, because that's the heart of what you're doing in that book club, is supporting the women that's part of that safe space
Yeah.
in owning their worth, in owning who they are, and being embodied in their greatness, because that's it's the expansion of the greatness that's going to create that attraction. But it starts with it starts with ourselves first.
Yeah.
And so I've just been hearing that a lot lately, like
Yeah.
the notice in the verbiage is I'm not attracting.
Yes. And that's where we get to take that inner look. And I love the Worthy Book Club. It's completely free. And if you're interested, just let me know. Because what we do is we take a stand for ourselves as female leaders without distraction, we're not marketing and mindset program or build your course and mindset. It's important to bring those into strategy, but it's where we really focus on filling our own cups up. And when you start to do that, it's an instant attraction because I think my smile's lopsided. It's distracting me. I'm doing a messy. We're like it's our Halloween episode, and I don't even know what I am, but it's just being fun, right? It's just having a good time, and so that's where that energy is produced and created. So if you're not attracting, look at why you may not be operating in high vibe energy that's bringing people to you, because people want that. They want a piece of that. And remember, too, everybody's on their own journey. So if you're not immediately attracting, it doesn't mean that you're on a wrong path or a path that doesn't work. Because people are on their own journeys, it's important to point out that they may be sitting back quietly watching you for a very long time before they get in touch, before they have the courage to say, hey, I'd really like to be a part of what you're doing. It's one of the reasons that Worthy is free. So there aren't any hindrances. You get to come in and you get to connect with other people and share positive energy and go deep on that internal story. Because we're taught this is where the forcing comes in, Alex. We're taught to get external approval from very early age, right? And we talk about this all the time because we don't even realize we're doing it. We don't even realize that it can be very off-putting if you're doing things just to win people over. When you stand grounded as a leader and who you are, the neuroscience behind that is that you're actually changing the neural networks in your brain. You are laying down those neural networks of confidence, belief in yourself. The confidence comes from that belief in yourself, from that knowing that you're worthy, and then it spreads, it magnifies. And like you were talking about, the magnets that either are attracting or repelling. So that's where I invite you to go look. Go look at what am I believing about myself? Who am I? Do I see myself as worthy? And even if you do overall, there may still be a hidden network there that's coming up and that's blocking you, keeping you from being okay with being you, being real. You have to believe in yourself in order to be real. Because that's where we want to put on a show and go, oh, please like me, please like me, please like me, right? And that doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Like if you like you know, being transparent here, you know, we first moved here, you know, there's a lot of people that already know each other and you're a new family and you see people that are like out or together. And I remember being like, oh, like, how come I didn't get invited? Right. And like, I noticed that and like, and because of the leadership work that we do, it's like, okay, I noticed that. I was like, okay, notice the internal dialogue. What is the story I'm making up right now
Yeah.
about the situation? I'm like, these people, they're just getting to know me. Right. And as you said, Carol, like they could be watching from the sidelines and maybe there's just they notice that I was like, right. There's so much that goes on subconsciously that we're not aware of. But
Yeah.
when I'm down grounded in my comments, I don't need their approval. I just get to be me. And, you know, and then, you know, a couple of weeks later, now I'm invited, right? Because they're just getting to know me. And you sort of alluded that, right? It's like
Yeah.
when we put too much on other people to validate, especially with this attraction piece about being attracting
Yeah.
anything, or when it's not appearing, you're trying to attract, it's not appearing, right? It's like you go to, okay, well, what's wrong with me? What's not working? All of
Yeah.
these like negative spiral versus our invitation to you is like, okay, look at what's working, stay in that space of positivity. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, I always forget the name of it, but you know, where the fear is at the bottom and you know, expansion,
Mhm.
love and joy is like at the top, right? You want to work your way up. So if you find yourself down here, you want to work your way up to that the joy and the love, because that's where that energy lies, and
Yeah.
that's where become more attractive, right? Whether it be attracting your money, attracting relationship, attracting friends, attracting, you know, partnerships, whatever it be, right? But if
Yeah.
you're not that high vibration for yourself, it's like you get to do the work on you and just being mindful. I think that there's so much power in just noticing, hey, I'm letting this mean something about me because I'm not getting the result that I'm looking for right now. And it's not that we need to do more. Our invitation here is to look internal, like what's going on internally, what's the internal dialogue, how are
Yeah.
you feeling in this situation that's in your experience not leading you to the result that you desire on the other side of that.
I think that's so powerful and, on point. I think you really reminded me that we are creators and we often forget that. So if we're in the energy of, hey, why wasn't I invited? And we're not looking at what's going on underneath, well, this is where we get really powerful because there's something there that's causing you to have that thought, that and emotion, thoughts and emotions forming beliefs. You're continuing to create that then because the beautiful thing about the way our universe operates and the divine operates is it's listening to our instructions. It's given us the power to create, and knowing that is incredibly powerful. You are a creator. Go inside. Look at what's going on there. Look at, the fact that you are this beautiful, worthwhile, powerful being emitting an energy, and you will attract like nobody's tomorrow. And you'll begin to see it in little ways first. And you want to keep your reticular activating system activated to see it, notice the little things, celebrate the little things, and it will expand, expand, expand. So, listen, we are so excited to bring this to you. Alex, Leanne, and I have so much more to bring you. And, Alex, when you just lean into as we wrap up here, the power of what we're bringing. And I know you've got something in the chat.
Well, we know you leader, right? You're not here to follow the rules, right? You're here to rewrite them, right? With
Yeah.
belief, boldness, and wealth, right, that aligns. And Carol has her neural wealth method available, right, to you so you can really close the gap. We talk about that attraction piece and attracting your wealth and those opportunities to, right, to increase your wealth. And, her big focus and her expertise is really supporting you in closing the gap for seven figures and beyond. And so, of course, she wants you to just reach out to her in IG in the private DMs, and she can tell you more about that opportunity, what it looks like to work with her one-on-one. And then if you've got a website, right? Because again, we're talking about attracting, right? Whether you're attracting business, partnerships, relationships, right? We want to make sure that that reflects you, right? That you're authentic. And we're talking about like showing up as who you are, your being. And because we know as a listener here and a powerful leader who changes lives, that your expertise changes lives. And we want to make sure, my husband and I with Peak Web Agency, that you have a website, you have digital marketing that really, really reflects that. And that's what we're here for. We're here for making a big impact, a big change in the world and what you're up to creating with your wealth, with your expertise. And we want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Unleash Unstoppable. And we'll see you next week, next Thursday.
Out for now.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alexandra Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post about it on social media or leave a rating and review and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.